Medical laboratory technology and professionals, we often work behind the scenes, so people don't know that we exist and they don't know that we're there. And even though I had some idea, I even said, I wish somebody had told me about this right after high school. But yeah, I did find my way here and I love it. I'm absolutely passionate about it. My name is Rachel, and I am a medical laboratory technologist. What MedLab is all about is providing answers to doctors from patient specimens, getting results from those specimens that will help doctors diagnose and choose the right treatment options for a patient. So the advice I would give is first, do some research. Because you want to find out what area of medicine that might appeal to you the most. People tend to think of healthcare professionals and they think doctors and nurses. But there's so many different professions like MedLab or respiratory therapy or personal support workers, or there's all kinds, pharmacy. So see what appeals to you. Really honestly reflect and look at your strengths and weaknesses and what you're willing to do to get there. A typical day for a med lab technologist does vary depending on where you work. If you're working in a large hospital lab, there's a bunch of different departments. So if you're in chemistry or hematology, you're going to be working with a lot of instruments that help you get those analyses. Great big machines that you put a specimen on that helps you get those numbers. Personally, I worked overnights by myself in a hospital in the lab. So sometimes my nights were very, very hectic, but I managed a lot of maintenance. I managed all the machines on my own. I went and drew blood from patients, which was really fascinating because in a small hospital, you go see the patient, you draw the blood, you come back, you bring it to the lab, you test it, you see them right through to the end. So all kinds of testing and getting results to doctors. Lots of telephone calls. It's really hard to pin down because I love everything about MedLab. For me, when I worked overnights, honestly, one of my favorite things, one of the reasons I wanted to do it was I worked on my own, so the lab was mine. I got to do things my way, and I got to see the patients and see the whole carry through and do everything. And troubleshooting, finding when there's an error or how to fix it was all up to me, and I enjoyed that problem solving aspect. And at the end of the day, no matter what happens, you know that you helped people, whether you helped save their lives or just helped them get better faster, helped the doctor treat them better, you knew you helped people. A lot of people, when they learn about us, think the only place you could ever work is in a hospital lab. That is where most of us work. It's not the only option. A lot of people they do the med lab training, they work in the hospital for a while, and they find it's not for them. I have a former colleague who works with one of the manufacturers of the reagents we use in the lab. So she works doing a lot of the testing to make sure it's working on that end. You have some people go into sales for the big instruments and all the chemicals that we use. So there's a whole bunch of different options actually where you wouldn't think of it. Agriculture is another one. MLT, I have a couple of classmates that worked in agriculture for a while. The testing is almost exactly the same. It's just different stuff you're looking for. For being a medical lab technologist, actually go to NBCC right now, and this was how the program was when I went as well. It's a diploma program and it's 2.5 years. So we do 2 years in the classroom, and then you do a term out in the hospital where you're actually out there working with lab techs who are helping train you and hone those skills so you get that experience before you go out and actually start working. So for medical laboratory technology, we cover a lot of things that people don't think of, like professionalism, communication. Communication is so key to what we do. Most patients that report a negative experience in the Medicare system, it's communication that was the problem. So we teach you a little bit about communication and how that works and how to communicate with a patient. We teach you how to draw blood, which surprises most students. It surprised me when I started. I didn't know I walked in my first day and they said, you have to learn how to do 100 blood draws. And I went, I have to do what now? Not everyone winds up doing that, but you do have to learn how. For a while, I worked on PEI and then in Moncton, but all my family is here, so I'm home now, and I really like that too. I was born in St. John, I was raised in St. John, all my family's from St. John, and we really do have a beautiful province that often gets overlooked, and that's just a shame. And I always wanted to stay here and help be part of what made New Brunswick better. I was born in St. John.